Hey everybody, we are doing day 4 of your STAAR review for 2015. We are doing district checkpoint number 2. Today is day 4 and we are on page 13 of your packet. So as you see, some of the formulas I've already written down and done a little bit of the work earlier so that the video was a little shorter. So at any point if you fall behind, you just need to maybe pause the video and write down the formulas, that's fine. So let's jump right into the first one. We're dealing with some diagrams here that they gave us to represent what the cylinder looks like. We're going to be looking at finding the volume of it. So this basically represents the base of it, and here's the height of it. Well, our formula is big B times H. So if you found the area in here, just by counting, you'd get 61. I'm pretty sure there's 61 of them. And we have a height of 7. So really, all we're doing to find the volume would be 61 times 7. So it looks like our answer would be A here. Now the other way to do it would be to actually use the formula out, do pi times 4.5 squared, and if you wonder where I got the 4.5, when you count across here there's 9 squares, so that means the radius is 4.5. So when I do that, pi times 4.5 squared times 7, I get an answer of about 445. And then to be safe, what I would do is I would just do all these problems here. So when I did all of these, this one gave me 427, this one 1780, this one 153.9, and this one 784. Well, that confirms that this answer here is the closest one to 445. And again, since we counted, that's a great circle. Again, as we counted, there were 61 squares in here and 7. That is a good representation of what the volume is. So that would be our answer, answer A. Number 2, the cylindrical, which means cylinder, giant ocean tank at the aquarium is 24 feet deep. Deep means height, and when you're talking about water, if you think about it. And it has a diameter of 37.6, and it just wants to know the volume. So again, we write down our formula. We know that we're dealing with a cylinder, so big B, area of the base, turns into the area of a circle formula, so pi times radius squared. So then we're just going to do 3.14 times, and you got to be careful here, it tells us the diameter is 37.6. So divide that in half, you get an answer of 18.8. So that's what our radius is, 18.8. We're going to square that, and times the height of 24. And then if I just put all that in the calculator, 3.14 times 18.8 squared times 24, and just do that all at once, I get an answer of 26,635. And since my answer that I got here was 26,635, I'm going to look for the next closest answer. And their answer is a little bit bigger. That's probably because they actually put pi in the calculator and it gave them all of pi, not just 3.14. So that's our answer for that one, answer J. Number 3, Michael's serving ice cream in a waffle cone, and they're going to ask us for the volume of the cone. So again, we write down our formula. The cone is similar to the cylinder because the base of it is a circle, but the formula tells us to divide it by 3. So our big B still becomes pi times radius squared, and then we're just going to fill in what they give us. They tell us the radius is 2, and the height is 9, so we just put these numbers in our formula. 1/3 times 3.14 for pi times the radius of 2 squared, which I could have just probably written down 4, times 9. Put that in the calculator, and again, 1/3 is just 1 divided by 3 in the calculator times 3.14 times 2 squared times 9. When I do that, I get an answer of 37.68. And then I look at that, 37.7. That's pretty darn close to 37.68. So there's your answer. Number 4, it says the female green turtle lays 110 spherical eggs. So we're talking about the space inside, the total volume of a sphere. So we're going to do this formula for the volume of a sphere. And then since there's 110 eggs, they want to know how much the volume is of all the eggs. We're going to multiply that answer by 110. So again, in our calculator, we're just going to put 4 divided by 3 times 3.14 times the radius, which it tells us. And again, it tells us diameter is 4.5. So to get the radius, we got to divide that in half, so that's 2.25. So 2.25 to the third power, because it's to the third power in that formula. So again, 4 divided by 3 times pi times 2.25 to the third power. I'm going to get that answer. Okay, so like 47.7, but then again there's 110 eggs, so I got to multiply my answer times 110, 5,245 or so. So I'm looking for an answer 4,245.7, something like that. And I look, and that one's just a little bit higher, again because they probably used pi in the calculator, so it gave them all of pi, and that's our answer. Alright, the next one, Barry's decorating a box. He plans to glue the tiles to all the faces of the wooden box shown below. Each colored tile that he is going to use is going to be 1 square foot. So that means every one of these will be a tile. So these are all going to be tiles, and we basically got to figure out how many of these are in this shape, the whole thing. And to do that, we're going to do our formula for total surface area, pH plus 2b. Again, what you want to do with this is you want to draw your base, which this shape here at the top, this is our base. It's a 3x1 rectangle. Our height, the first thing we want to write down is that 2 right there, so the height is 2. Just got to find the perimeter of this. 3 plus 1 is 4. Do that twice to go all the way around is 8. And then the area of it is just 3 times 1. So let me put these numbers in our formula. 8 times 2 plus 2 times 3 gives us 16 plus 6, which is 22. And then you look over here and you see 22 and you think that's the answer, but again, it tells you each one of these costs 77 cents. And this answer tells us there's 22 of them. So I have to do 22 times 0.77. Whoop, and not hit wrong buttons. So 22 times 0.77 gives me an answer of $16.94. So my total cost would be $16.94, which is answer B. Alright. Next problem, next page, number 6. We've got a triangular prism. Again, our formula for triangle prisms is the same as rectangular prisms, pH plus 2b. We do need to remember that the base shape is always a triangle in this shape. Here again I drew it so that I could get everything correct from it. And remember that this 4 is my height in my formula, so I'm going to write that down first. And again, then I'm done with that. So then I have to find the perimeter of this triangle. So 4 plus 3 plus 5 is 12. And then I got to find the area of it. Well, I might need to look back at my formula chart, because to find the area of a triangle, you have to do base times height divided by 2. So 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 gives me an area of 6. And now all I do is put those in the formula. So perimeter of 12, height of 4, plus 2 times the area of the base, which was 6. So I got 48 plus 12, which gives me an answer of 60. And then I would put that in correctly, 60. Remember, that's all you got to put. You don't need to take a chance at putting zeros after this or before it. And again, if it's positive, you don't have to mark it. If you want to, just to be safe, that's fine, but you don't have to. You do have to mark it when it's negative. Which, we're not going to have negative surface area. That would be impossible. Alright, number 7, we have a cylindrical can of tuna fish. It has a height of 1.5, diameter of 5. I should already probably write down that the radius is half of that. Okay? So you probably start thinking, oh, I'm going to be doing some surface area. I'm talking about the label, and you write down total surface area. But then you remember that the label goes around the can but doesn't cover the top and bottom, so all you're doing is lateral surface area. So you're doing 2 times pi times the radius times the height. And again, thank your lucky stars that you have a calculator, because that would probably be difficult without one. So 2 times 3.14 times 2.5 times 1.5. Check to make sure you typed everything in correctly. Hit enter, get 23.55. 23.56 is good enough for me, so that's what I'm going to pick as my answer, because it's extremely close. Okay, number 8, which we've been doing a little bit lately in class, is finding the equation when we have a chart here. So it says write the equation. Which equation would work? Well, the first thing we want to look at is to find our y-intercept. If it's got a 0 in it, the number on the bottom is our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is plus 375, which eliminates J and G as answers. And then from there, I just got to do my y minus y and x minus x. So since these are the bigger numbers, might be a little bit more difficult. I'm going to do 275 minus 225, which is 50. And then I'm going to do 10 minus 15, which is negative 5, and you got to be careful with that. So when I do 50 divided by negative 5, I get negative 10. So that's what goes in front of my x in my equation. And as you see, that is answer F. All right, number 8, which of the following is not a function? I know it's been a while since we've done functions, but remember, functions can only have one value for each x value. So if I look here, each one of these has only one line coming from it. But then I get to this one, and I see this would be the point 411 and the point 412. So this one is not a function. All right. Next, which equation does not represent a proportional relationship? Remember, proportional relationships, when we have linear equations or lines, go through 0, 0. That means they won't have anything at the back of them. They'll just be something like this with a number here in front of the x. But they can mix it around in any way they want to. So what you want to do is look for anything that has something other than a y value and an x value. So x and y, so that one is proportional. Y and x, that one is proportional. 2 times x would just be 2x equals y, so that's proportional. So that tells us this one here that's got this minus 2 is the one that's not proportional, because that one's going to go through the point 0, negative 2 on the y-axis. Okay? Almost done. These last ones will go kind of quick. Number 11, Game Store charges one-time membership. All this good stuff, you can read through that. Which of the following equations can be used to represent the amount spent? Okay, so we got to write our equation here, so we know it's going to be y equals something x, and then plus or minus something. Well, the first place we want to look is the y-axis here. Since it hits plus 8, that's what's going to go at the back. So again, that eliminates answer D and answer A. And the last thing we have to do is find the slope. So since it's not proportional, we got to take 2 points. And you could just do rise over run. So if I go rise from 8 to 18 is up 10, and then over 8, so that's what my slope would be, which is 5 over 4, which if I put that in the calculator gives me 1.25. So that's what's going in front of the x, and that is answer B. All right, number 12. We're going to work with right triangles here, and we're trying to figure out if these lengths can make right triangles. Remember, if they can, when we square all three numbers, these first two answers should add up to this one. So 15 squared is 225, 20 squared is 400, and I'm assuming you would do this in your calculator. And the lights just went out, so I got to stand up and get them to come back on. Let there be light, thank you. So when I add these two together, 225 plus 400 is 625, so that would be a right triangle. 13 squared, 169, 14 squared, 196, 15 squared is 225. If I add those two together, I'm not going to get 225, so that means that one is not a right triangle. This one, 5 squared, 25, 12 squared, 144, 14 squared is 196. When I add these two together, I'd get 169, which this would have to be 13 to make that right, because 13 squared is 169. So it's not that one. And now that I've done those three, and I know there's got to be two answers, and one of them's got to be A, the other one's got to be D. So I'm almost positive that's answer H, but we're going to check. So 10 squared is 100, 4 squared is 576, and 26 squared is 676. So when I add 100 plus 576, I get 676. So it is answer H for A and D. Okay, this one, trying to figure out if these triangles are similar or not. Well, in order for them to be similar, just the angles have to match each other. So if I'm missing some of these, I got to figure them out. So I know that all three have to add up to 180. I got 85 and 53 here. That's 138. which means this other one here has to be 42. So now I look over here and see if any of these have that. Well, this one's 85 and 42. Well, if two of them match, that means the third one's got to match. So I know that these two match each other. Okay? So I don't even really have to do these two because it says A, B, C, and J, L, K are similar. That's answer A, and I'm done. If there were others that, if this one didn't match any of these other ones, I'd have to check some more, but that one's pretty simple. And the last one, Nelly's Pizza sells medium pizzas for $7 each and charges a $2 delivery fee per order, which describes the relationship. Well, y equals $7 a pizza plus 2. This is still our y-intercept. This is still our slope. Just because the letter P here is for pizza, that would still basically be an x. So this tells us, we can look at here. Is it proportional? Well, no. Again, the plus 2 tells us it's not proportional, so it can't be the first or the second answer. A non-proportional function with a y-intercept of 7. Nope, the y-intercept is 2, so it's got to be answer J. Okay, there you go. Day 4, district checkpoint number 2 is done, and we'll start with another one tomorrow. So have a good day.